Looking for a play-based preschool math curriculum? I've got an option for you here from Timberdoodle. Hi guys, I'm Kathleen Lewis. I'm a homeschool graduate and a homeschool mom to two. My oldest was an advanced learner when it came to preschool math. So I was hanging around doing my best to try to find something that was hands-on manipulative space for him, which is exactly what Timberdoodle's preschool math curriculum is. Now, I do have to preface this video saying I have a lot of cons that I'm going to tell you about in a bit. If you are willing to put in the effort, you can make this curriculum work fantastically. So just be aware of that. And if you're looking for something play-based that you don't have to put all the work in, I have another option for you, which I'll share about at the end. So before we get into looking at the goodies, let me step a little bit back and tell you about Timberdoodle's philosophy in particular as it applies to this. Timberdoodle is a very hands-on curriculum company. They go out there and find all sorts of great resources to put together in a bundle and basically sell to you as a distributor. They could not find something satisfactory to their methodology when it came to preschool math. So they wrote this book completely from scratch many years ago. And I think it is a good attempt at a hands-on math curriculum. And as I said, there are some cons, which I'll explain about. The curriculum comes with this teacher's manual, which is pretty open and go. You have to do a little bit of fast speed reading when you sit down with your kid to understand what's going on. And then you have these two manipulatives that come from learning resources. You have the animal counters and then the vehicle counters. And it also comes with this mat, a double-sided mat. So you have the town side and the farm side. Now, using all of these things, you basically teach your child counting and all the other foundational preschool math principles. But that is not all with the preschool program. They did not intend for this to be a standalone curriculum. They say it's designed to be used with this, which they include in the curriculum kits for preschool. But this is essentially a standalone math curriculum itself, which is completely workbook based, very repetitive counting and other math and logic skills. My opinion is yes, you could use this in tangent with this curriculum, but it's redundant if you build this out like I'm gonna suggest. So if you want something hands-on, just ignore this, nix this. It's not going to be working for you because it is completely workbook math, which I did not want to have to do with my, at the time, 2 or 3-year-old. As always, I like to start with my fast facts. First, how much does this cost? It is pricey for preschool curriculum. At the moment, the kit right here, all of this combined is $70, about there. Yes, that is a hefty price tag, but one thing you do have to keep in mind is this, and I'm leaving out this workbook here. We're gonna ignore this for the rest of the video, but this right here is completely reusable between kids. Additionally, both of my kids love getting this out and the mat out and just using it as a toy. So you're essentially buying toys that you can use to do math with. Second question is what kind of family this is best for. Obviously, hands-on math learning. There's absolutely no workbook involved with this set right here. Additionally, you as the parent are going to need to be able to be creative when it comes to fleshing out this curriculum because, and this is one of the cons here, for each concept, they basically just give you 2 math problems, 2 practices, if I can say it that way, which is not enough repetition for kids to learn counting concepts or some of these other concepts in here. Which is why I would suggest you use this as a guide for further exercises, further practices. You can make up your own stories. Third question, how much time is involved in each lesson? Probably 2 to 5 minutes. So they're really super short, definitely developmentally appropriate. Fourth question, what type of learner is this best for? Kinesthetic. You can also add some auditory in there because you're telling them stories, but it is definitely kinesthetic focused. Fifth question, is this open and go? Technically, yes. There's going to be a little bit of skimming you do to understand the story problem you're doing with your kid that day. And then you have to actually lay out all of the manipulatives to establish the story. And I'll show you a story in a minute so you can understand what I'm talking about. The problem with this curriculum, though, is it does not give you good teacher feedback or guidance. So it lays out a sample story problem for you, but it does not tell you if your child's ready to move on. It doesn't give you any guidance of, okay, now from here, we've given you 2 examples of how you can do this. Go on and be creative from there. No, there's no guidance like that. No guidance of, oh, wait a second, you're getting too far ahead of your child. So is it open and go? Yes, but it doesn't give you the teacher, the parent guidance that you need to go beyond the lessons and understanding. 6th question, and I've mentioned a few of these already, but what are the cons? Well, obviously the price. The price is a con. It is hefty for any math curriculum in general, particularly for preschool math. As I just said, it is not great teacher guidance, and it is complicated setup. So these are story problems, and they'll tell you Farmer Brown has 2 horses in the barn and 2 sheep in the field. So sometimes you're setting up the problem as you go. Sometimes it has to be pre-set up, and they tell you exactly the color and the type of animal or the type of vehicle and the color, and it can be a little bit confusing until you start understanding their methodology, in which case you can just come up with your own stories. Another con is that some of these lessons and some of these concepts are just not well thought up or designed. For example, the shape lesson, they say put 1 vehicle on each side, and they have you build a triangle using the edges of the vehicle. And I think that's just confusing for a preschool child. So things like that. There's a few lessons like that that just don't make sense for a child. The last con I have to mention for you is that obviously these are toys. They're designed to be fun, but depending on the kid, they can get really distracted and want to start playing with these instead of listening to the lesson you have for them. So you can get them involved with the play. Obviously, this is supposed to be play-based and have them zooming their trucks up. But depending on the kid, and I'm going to say one of my children in particular would not want to do the lesson the way I have laid it out because she is stubborn and like, no, we're going to play it this way, mommy. So I already know that we're not going to do this with my daughter. So just be aware of that with your kids' personalities. This may not work for every kid. Okay, 7th question, and very applicable to this channel. Is this going to work for a gifted kid? No. As I said, I used this with my son who was gifted, and at the time I was not aware of the other option, which is Preschool Math at Home with Kate Snow. I would highly recommend you go check that out. I'm going to have a link at the end of the video so you can go link to that, and I'll also put it down below. But this right here, I would say is not good for gifted kid because it is so tedious. Yes, it's something fun to play with, but the concepts, the overall concepts taught here don't go very in depth, and it just ended up being a bit boring for my 2-year-old gifted son. Okay, let's flip the camera around so you can see inside a lesson. Here is the teacher's manual for this. Now it starts with an overall tips. It reminds you that it works well with mathematical reasoning beginning 1, which is this book, which I, again, don't suggest you do both. It is designed to do 2 story problems per week, and they tell you that here. It says if you need additional practice, just repeat the stories over and over and over again, maybe substituting family names, which to me would make a child extremely bored. It does tell you to make sure your child knows colors and shapes before starting this and can understand basic things like which is bigger, a horse or a house. So from there, we go into the first week. Each week has a farm activity, which is used with the animal counters, and then a town activity, which you use the vehicle counters. Now let's do an example of what the story problems are like. So this first one says Byron had apple trees growing next to his pasture, and on them were the most delicious red apples. Bonnie the cow came and started eating the apples, which are right here.
How many animals are eating the apples? Next, Taffy the pig came over, and started eating the apples. Now, how many animals are eating the apples? Last, Annie the tall horse trotted up and started eating the apples. Now let's count them. How many are there? Do you think they will all eat the apples, or will they leave some for farmer Byron? Now, as you can see, there's already some issues here. The child supposedly does not know how to count. So instead of doing the story problem like they say, I would say Bonnie the cow came along and started eating the apples. That is one animal eating the apples, telling the child how many instead of expecting them to count with you. And then you have Taffy the pig come over and the child can write up Taffy the pig. And then you say, okay, count 1, 2. And then again, you're guiding them through the counting and the same thing 1, 2, 3. So they expect the child to know the answer already with how this is scripted. You have to turn that around and have the child just watch you and listen to you and model you many times before they can start counting 1, 2, 3. Week 1 is counting from 1 to 3. Week 2 is continuing practicing 1 through 3. And then you start getting familiar with numbers 4 through 6. Now we focus on patterns. And then you have counting by 4 in groups, counting by 5 in the practice of more, counting by groups. So it is essentially counting for the most part. And then there's behind and in front, concepts of more and fewer. As I said, my main issue with this is how few activities they have for each concept and then how quickly they advance. So week 4 is talking about left and right and top and bottom, and then they completely reverse and go back to numerals. So it is a bit sporadic. And then by week 17, you're supposed to introduce the idea of taking away, subtracting. So it goes really fast. It is not slow paced for the child. You have to really slow down what you're doing to give them plenty of time to count, to learn how to count, which is essentially what preschool is all about. They actually have ordinal numbers that they introduce here, and a whole bunch of other concepts that are logic based but not necessarily preschool math. This is an example of how it goes a bit beyond what you would expect a preschooler to do, understanding halves. And that is week 35, and week 36 is just a review of a variety of math skills. So while I would say this is robust in the spread of concepts, again, it does not give your child the practice she really needs.
If you've enjoyed this video, go ahead and bump that like button and let me know it. And again, if you want to look at the other preschool curriculum that I think is pretty much perfect, go check out this video right here. It is play-based as well, but has great teacher guidance and definitely can go at your own child's pace, whatever that may be.